Now we'd like to talk about what is considered in the development of an IEP. What are the different things that are inside an IEP? And there's lots of them, and we'll go over the list. But of course, first you talk about the strengths of the child and the concerns of the parents. And then you talk about the evaluation results, academic, developmental, functional needs. All those things need to be discussed. You also have to discuss English proficiency, and the reason you do that is to ensure that you have a proper evaluation results, and so that you know where the child's at academically, not just that they don't know English. You also look at the technology needs, any assistive technology they may have, behavior interventions, and any other services that may be possible. But we'll go through those one at a time and take a look at what needs to be the meat, the content of the IEP. What is considered in the development of an individualized education program? First, you start on a positive note. What are the strengths of the child? What are they good at? Are they good at being friends with other people? Are they good at math? It's important to start the IEP meeting off talking about the strengths of the child, to start it off on a positive note. Next is the concern of the parents. What concerns do you have? What are you seeing at home? These are the behaviors that I'm seeing at home. Are you seeing them at school? I see that my child is having trouble making friendships. He's having a lot of trouble in English. He's a little slow on writing. He doesn't seem to be developmentally appropriate. Those are the concerns of parents that are discussed at the meeting. Then we move on to evaluation results. What does the evaluation show us? The multidisciplinary team evaluation. Really what it shows us is where is the child at academically and developmentally and functionally. So these three things, the strengths of the child, concerns of the parents, evaluation results, are really present levels of performance. So once we know the present levels of performance, what do we need? Academically, what do we need? Is my child at the third grade reading level, but they're in seventh grade? So are they understanding what they read, or do we need to change the academics to allow them to access the information at a different level? Developmentally, what does my child need? Is he making good social interactions with his peers? Is she in need of occupational therapy, physical therapy? Where is my child at on the developmental scale? And what do we need to improve her developmental performance? What are the functional needs of my child? Do they need help with personal hygiene? Do they need help with life skills, cooking, balancing a checkbook? Do they need vocational skills? All those need to be discussed also. There should be a discussion of English proficiency, and this is simply to ensure that we're teaching this child and what we know about the child is at the proper level. Is there any assistive technology out there that can assist my child in meeting his academic, developmental, and functional goals? Are there behaviors that's interfering with my child's ability to learn? Do we need to do some positive behavior interventions in order to remove those blockades to better learning through changing the behaviors to be more appropriate and to help with academic, developmental, and functional needs? And finally, what other services are needed? Is nursing needed? Is counseling needed? This also involves transition services, which we'll go into more in depth, but do we need to discuss what possible transition services are needed for vocational reasons? Do we need vocational training? Do we need to hook up with a agency such as vocational rehabilitation? All these need to also be considered in the IEP. So this whole thing is pretty much the meat of the IEP. What you talk about here, of course, is where your child's at, what they need, and all this needs to be in writing. And all of this is discussed in the meeting. Now, when we go through the forms, you'll see where this is discussed at, so it'll make more sense to you. And we will also talk a lot more in the future about transition services. Finally, once again, here is the federal, here in the left-hand corner is the federal Code of Federal Regulations for the federal regulations and the Nebraska Administrative Code for Nebraska.